Jaeyoon requested me on Patreon to review the Disney direct-to-video sequel, Pocahontas II: Journey to a New World. I admit to not caring much for the first movie, but does the sequel manage to improve on that one? Nope, and of the Disney direct-to-video sequels I've seen, this does place near the bottom of my ranking. With that said, having Pocahontas go to England in this one is the logical route to take, seeing as the real Pocahontas did the same thing, albeit for different reasons than depicted here. Although anyone watching this movie looking for a history lesson has gone to the wrong place. One of my biggest problems with the first movie is that Pocahontas is just a boring lead. That continues to be an issue for me in the sequel, and while her going to England might result in something interesting, there's not a whole lot that happens during the movie's short runtime. I do like that the sequel does not pretend it was hunky-dory after the events of the first movie, and there's still conflict between the settlers and the indigenous people. Of course, this is still the sanitized Disney version of events, but again, nobody should expect an historically accurate depiction here. However, the main villain remains Ratcliffe, who I personally find one of the weakest and least interesting Disney villains. I think it would have been more interesting if King James was the principal antagonist here. The trouble of creating peace between the English and the Puritans, and James wanting to colonize Virginia is already conflict enough without bringing Ratcliffe into the mix. It would have provided some interesting development there, but most of all with just watching Ratcliffe scheming and he remains a boring villain. One of the other aspects Pocahontas II takes from history is bring in John Rolfe. The film tries to develop a romance between the two, but I felt they had absolutely no chemistry, and the infatuation feels so sudden. John Smith also appears in the movie, not voiced by Mel Gibson, not that I'm complaining. Instead, they got his brother Donald Gibson, but the character remains as boring as he was the first time around, and the reason they give for them not ending up together is flimsy. Just a sort of, we've moved on from each other. Also, real-life history requires I end up with this other John. So, see ya. You would think they would make this love triangle a lot more interesting, but not really. The themes could have been developed a lot more, especially as Pocahontas arrives in London. There are a few fleeting moments of her being disrespected by the English, but the movie seems to rush through its plot points and also spends a lot of time putting Pocahontas in a new dress. As expected, Pocahontas II is a musical, although I don't find any of the songs to be particularly memorable. We get the I Want song, a villain song, and a song that's pretty much a copy of Belle from Beauty and the Beast when Pocahontas first appears in London. The animation is passable enough for a direct-to-video film, even if nothing particularly stands out about the look of it. I personally find the most enjoyable aspect of the movie comes from the animals. Miko and Percy provide a few moments that make me chuckle, and I found myself more interested in their continuing frenemy relationship than in the main storyline with Pocahontas and John Rolfe. Because they don't talk, it's entirely up to the animators to make them amusing, and they do. Although I found the antics to be among the standout moments of the first movie, so my enjoyment of them here is not too surprising. Despite my general lack of enthusiasm for the Pocahontas movies, a part of me cannot help but wonder what a third movie would have been like. But I think the people at Disney realized that it would be tricky to continue telling Pocahontas' story, even with their usual departures from history. When she and Rolfe sail away on the ship in the end, well, anyone familiar with the true story will know things don't exactly go uphill from there for either Pocahontas or the indigenous Americans. However, nobody is watching Disney's Pocahontas for historical accuracy, and if you're looking for a more serious take on the story, there's always Terrence Malick's The New World. I think it's telling that Disney has not produced another animated feature based on real people since Pocahontas II, as it just leads to too much controversy and difficult storytelling decisions the filmmakers have to make. Do you want to be as historically accurate as possible, or create an enchanting and charming animated movie that will entertain general audiences looking for a 90-minute escapade? That's why I think something like Moana is the best route to take for a family-aimed animated feature about a specific culture. Because it's about fictional characters, there's more freedom in where to take the movie, and there's less worry about creating a distorted view of someone who actually lived. Either that or The Prince of Egypt, where you take it mostly seriously, avoid sugarcoating things, and don't change the story too much. Anyway, what do you think of Pocahontas II: Journey to a New World? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for the request, Jaeyoon.